We good to go? All right. I'd like to welcome everyone out to the Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, July 21st, 2022. We do have a full quorum, and just to make you aware, Andrea is online, but she is attending and will be voting as well. So we will start off with item, where are we? No. Item 3.1, which is our Pledge of Allegiance. And David George, I think you offered to lead us in that.
Everyone, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Seeing that we do have full quorum, are there any conflicts of interest with any items on the agenda tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll look for a motion for approval of minutes for the May 5th and May 19th Planning Commission meetings. We can do these individually if we need to. If you feel comfortable doing them together, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May 5th and May 19th, which is item 3.4.
I'll second it.
Second.
Thank you. I guess, all in approval?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll go on to the administrative items. 4.1, which is a recommendation of approval for a conditional use permit for a home daycare known as Katerine and Zion Daycare. City staff?
Is there a clicker up here? Everybody's looking. Wait for the clicker, I guess. I know. He can advance it for you.
So just to make the applicants
All right, we'll
aware,
just go for
so the
it.
staff will go over it for a minute, and then the applicants will be invited to come up and talk about it as well, right after.
All right, so this is a home daycare located at 5504 West Disler Lane, just north of where we're at now. Click. So the background information, it's in the R210 zone. It's on just over 1/10 of an acre. So notices for daycares are mailed out to residents, and then if there's no response from the residents, it automatically just moves to an approval process where it's administrative and staff approves those. If there are responses from the community, then it comes before the commission for consideration. So in this instance, we did receive 2 responses. One was formal via email. The other one was just over the phone, I believe. And those notices were sent out on the 11th of May for this meeting, I believe. So you can see the applicant's home highlighted here. Just to kind of give context to where their site is, they have a fenced backyard. This isn't working. Not clicking. You can just go forward one.
Yeah. It's a small agenda tonight.
Oh, maybe. Okay. So the proposed daycare is 12 children. Let's see, let me go back one to make sure. Okay, so it's 12 children. Like as I mentioned, they do have a fenced rear yard. They will have 2 additional employees, which is now provided for in the ordinance. They do have, a large amount of parking for those employees on their property. The daycare will exist on the main floor, and then the applicant intends to pick up the majority of their children. So they'll go around and pick the kids up and take them to the home. So some of the concerns from the public, obviously, traffic always seems to be a concern. The hours of operation, there was apparently the applicant had a location somewhere else that operated from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. In this instance, they'll be restricted to 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then as mentioned, the employee parking is all provided for off of the public street. That being said, we do recommend approval of the proposed home daycare. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer what I can.
I don't have any.
I think we're good. If the applicant's here, if they want to come up, they can share the name. If you have anything additional to share, you can. If you don't, that's fine also. So just state your name and then if there's anything else you'd like to share.
Hi, my name is Francine Ngabire, and I'm the owner of Katorian in Zion Daycare.
Can you pull the microphone
Yeah.
down just a little bit? We just can't hear you very good. Sorry.
Perfect. Thank you.
My name is Francine Ngabire, and I'm the owner of Katorian in Zion Daycare. I'm just standing here to assure you guys that there won't be traffic, because I do pick up most of the kids. And the vehicle that I used to pick up will be in the garage. And I have 2 employees, but only one drives, so there is spare parking for the employees. So there won't be no traffic.
All right. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I'll let you sit back down.
Thank you.
I'll turn to the Planning Commission if there's any additional comments you guys would like to make, or if at this time you'd like to make a motion.
There's so much off-street parking that I would recommend making a motion for approval. So
I'll second that.
All right. Adam made a motion for approval, second by Jackson, and we'll call for a vote. Andrea?
Yes.
Thank you. Jackson?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Adam?
yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And Forrest?
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll now move on to item 4.2, which is a conditional use consideration of a site plan for Serendipity Preschool.
Okay, so this is just across the street here from the city building. It's for another preschool and daycare that they would like considered. I'll have to point it in a magical direction or abracadabra this thing.
Those poor people waited longer for us to push the clicker than that.
We can move through this one, okay. There we go. So as I mentioned, it's just across the street, right next door to the rec center, in this vacant lot here that's being shown. It's in the MU2 zone, mixed-use zone, same zone as most of the city center here.
Great daycare.
Oh.
All right, so the proposal is for an almost 8,000 square foot building. The building is shown in gray here, kind of that U-shaped building. They're providing 24 parking stalls and then a potential for a future commercial building. As you can see on it'd be the east side. There's kind of an empty space there for, like as I mentioned, for an additional commercial building to be constructed. One of the concerns we had from staff is that there's a dumpster in the PUE that's on the west side, and that'd be just right next to the entrance and exit to the rec center. We don't have any waivers for that dumpster to be located there, so that's one of the conditions of approval, that they provide those waivers. If they cannot obtain those waivers, then the dumpster will have to be moved elsewhere. They do have additional parking, so they could potentially move that and still be okay on the site. This is just another overview, again, just to put the project in context. It has the landscaping on there as well. You can see the landscape buffering on both the northeast and the northwest side. I think the tree spacing is 20 feet on center for those trees there, where you're adjacent to residential. And then you can see the rest of the landscaping around the exterior of the property, and then interior on the parking as well. This is the floor plan. So on the bottom, looking at the bottom side, that would be facing Harriman. Main Street, and then the top would be facing the residential neighborhoods. Just to get an idea of what that floor plan, how that lays out. They have an outdoor play area in the middle of that U area, that U-shaped building, and that will face towards, so all the noise will go out towards Harriman Main Street.
So real quick, oh, sorry. Go back. It looks like that outdoor play area, it does have that exit, but it looks like that's,
A fence.
it's fenced off, and that's probably more of an emergency exit as well, right? So
Yes.
it's protecting the children from
Right.
Main Street as well.
Yeah, that will probably just be for emergency
Emergency,
egress.
yeah.
Probably just because all the fire doors get ended.
Okay.
In terms of architecture, the building is primarily brick and stone, has some ephes on it. It does comply with the Harriman Town Center design guideline standards. The building, you know, and looking at it from a
Nice.
from a staff perspective, you know, it could be a transferable building where if the daycare goes away, additional uses could come in. This side that you're looking at now would be facing Harriman Main Street, and you have these two big glass windows with the eyebrows over them that could potentially be converted into doors that would be facing right off of the public sidewalk for future access, if the, as I mentioned, if the building ever was converted into something different than the daycare and preschool. It's 18 feet tall, so not a super tall building at all. This is just another, if we need more information on the exterior there. As I mentioned, the parking, they do have 4 additional stalls, which could be helpful if they need to relocate the dumpster. And and those additional 4 parking stalls will probably be helpful as well when they get another use in the building. They probably would have to do some kind of shared parking agreement or shared parking arrangement or parking study to meet those standards. That being said, staff does recommend approval. There are some engineering requirements that need to be taken care of. Still, most of the planning concerns are regarding the dumpster and the vacation of that public utility easement. They also need a letter from the Harriman Town Center for the architectural review committee. So if there is any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Clint, will you remind me who is on the Town Center Architectural Review Committee?
I'm not sure. Is it Matt Watson? Okay.
With momentum, yeah, with the developer, yeah.
Did you hear that, Andrea?
Sorry, so it's staff and then momentum, or just?
It's Matt Watson with
Yeah,
Momentum.
and we don't know the other staff members that he may consult with in reviewing these, but he's our point of contact with the developer, the master developer.
Oh, okay, so it's not city staff that's on the review committee, though?
No, it's not city staff.
Okay.
City planner. Oh, I did have, sorry.
Non-voting?
You have someone,
Oh, it's been a
Jackson?
minute. Was that?
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Was there a fence along the west side?
Yes, there's fencing along the west and the north side, which is, I think it's currently, there's fencing in place now. They're required to put in a masonry fence on both the north, or the east and the north side. Wherever they're adjacent to residential, that fence is required.
Okay, and then there's a fence between the rec center and them as well?
Can you back up a couple
Well, it looks like
pictures?
there's another commercial lot that can go in right next to them for expansion. I thought I saw. Right here, possible future building. Oh, that's east side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get back. I don't think that they're proposing any, and maybe the applicant could speak to that better. Let me get back to a site plan.
There you go.
It doesn't look like they're proposing anything on that side, and
I think they
there's
need
not
one
a
there.
I don't know if it
requirement for
matters
that.
with how it's.
With
laid
where it's
out.
at the rec center, right?
Yeah. That's just the road entrance.
I was mostly wondering just because of the dumpster, if there was a fence there, that might,
Oh,
Dumpster would have to be enclosed.
yeah, it would have to be enclosed.
yeah, it has to be enclosed, but if it's behind a big stone fence, then I wouldn't,
Yeah,
that was kind of my thought.
yeah.
That's kind of why I was asking.
We require that to be enclosed. All right. If the applicant's here, if they'd like to come up, if there's anything additional you would like to state, and then also just state your name again.
David George, don't have anything extra additional really to do the staff cover. They've been helpful in getting through all of the different things that we need. We did get Harriman Town Center approval for the project, but that was after the notices had already been sent out. So we've sent that into staff. They'll probably have that in their emails in the next day or two.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
No, it looks really nice.
Looks great.
Great.
Yeah,
Looks
the
great.
building looks nice. Thank you. All right, I'll let you have a seat, and then we'll look for, I guess, any discussion or a motion to be made.
I think this is awesome, so
Yeah,
I'm ready to make.
I think it's a great location for it,
Great
too.
location, great everything.
And I like how they incorporated the full wraparound design of architecture. Maybe we can share that with the pre-meeting conversation and point that out a little bit. So I'll make a motion, hopefully they heard me, to approve item 4.2 with staff's recommendations.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Adam and a second by Andy, and we'll call for a vote. And we'll go with Forrest,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Andrea.
Yes.
All right, that is approved, and we'll move on to just item 5, which is just any additional comments from the chair or commission. I actually do have one comment. I guess one of the things that I'm sort of looking at is as we address items, there is probably a different level of respect we need to probably show towards some of these individuals. I think sometimes we joke and kid with stuff, or we maybe have a differing view from them, but we need to express it in a respectful way. They put a lot of effort into it, as well as we have in looking at it. And I think it'll be a lot easier for us to come to common grounds if we're able to do that. And I wanted to state that here because I wanted, if any of them hear it, that they're aware that we do feel that way, even if we do say something that may not be portrayed that way. So,
Agreed, and if it's tied to what I just said, I want to make sure that I'm clear that I mean trying to tie in this architectural feel.
yes.
Because I
yes.
think
And it's
this
not,
is what we were trying to say in the meeting a couple weeks ago, is stuff like this, the look and feel. Now, I get it's a daycare, but I could see this being a commercial building, take away the fenced gate so kids can't escape, and you have exactly what we're talking about with an outdoor courtyard and eating area and things like that. So that's why I want to make sure staff's clear. I mean the look specifically for this, and I don't think you meant it towards mine.
And I didn't
get
mean
what you
towards that specifically. I just know that over the last months, and I've been at fault at times as well, and it happens unintentionally. Sometimes when we have a differing opinion from someone who's came in and put a lot of work into something, if we don't express it with the right intentions, it can be offensive almost to them. And I want to make sure that we're aware of that because we're just trying to make the community better, and they're hoping that they can bring in a development that does that as well, I think. And so we just need to work a little bit harder at trying to accomplish that.
Chair, I have one other thing that kind of, I think, goes along with that. We haven't shared this with, I know the planning staff's changed quite a bit since we shared this in the past, but I don't like when developers put you on reaction mode and you have to quickly change it and you're not prepared and all that stuff. And I completely support staff pushing back and saying, sorry, we're not going to talk about it tonight because you're not prepared.
Yeah.
And you're making me react to that. So I'm not saying always, and I get that you're trying to help both sides, but we've always had that since I've been a planning commissioner and since I think I've been in here the longest.
By 2 weeks?
By 2 weeks. I want to make sure you guys understand that I actually appreciate if you say, hey, you know what, let's talk about this offline because otherwise we're going to be disconnected and we still haven't even had a chance to review it. So I don't like the last minute switches and changes. I never have, and I don't think it's right, and I don't think it's fair for the public either because then it looks like the city's helping developers rather than looking at the full picture. So I wanted to say that, and we haven't said that in a long time.
But with that being said, you are helping developers. We know that.
Correct.
Yeah, but you're also helping that with the standards and the community in mind that it's something that meets everybody criteria and accomplishes what we're trying to. And so, but with that being said, any other comments? Okay, future meetings. Next Planning Commission meeting is August 4th, 2022. Next City Council meeting is August 10th, 2022. And next Planning Commission meeting, August 18th, 2022. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, guys.
So I am out the 18th of August.
Okay, I'm out.